Hello and welcome. This is Sports Tonight. We're broadcasting live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. Glad to have you join us once again to talk sports. I'm Austin Okonakpan. On the show tonight, I want to address the leadership issues going on in the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria. Right after the World Powerlifting World Cup in Abuja, the president, Queen Oboh Idris, says she has resigned. Federation says, you cannot resign. You are suspended so we can look into the accusations of financial misappropriation in the Federation. Ministry says federations must obey the rules of governance. So there's been some back and forth going on with powerlifting in Nigeria. And for those of us that love special sports and everything that our powerlifters have done for the country, so we don't like it. Because the powerlifters, when they visited the Minister for Youth and Sports Development, they said that they don't like what's going on. And they accused the president, Queen Idris Oboh, that she went with the trophy that they won from the World Cup. Remember, Nigeria emerged overall champions at the World Powerlifting World Cup in Abuja. And we said, what's all this? What's going on? Why can't there be peace within sporting federations in Nigeria? Just because we love special sports in Nigeria, I want to address the issue tonight on the program. I've got our guest standing by at our Abuja studios. We'll talk about powerlifting in Nigeria on the show tonight. Also, we'll take a look at what's going on with our countdown to the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival. It will be the 20th edition. Edo State, they said they want to give us one of the best sporting festivals that have been organized in the country, and they are busy right now with the State Sports Festival. I'll give you updates coming from that one, and of course, we'll continue our countdown to the main events that will kick off March the 20th right there in Benin City. I'll also continue our countdown to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Yesterday, we listened to the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, saying that, look, for sports development to actually work in Nigeria, we must pull off the over-dependence on government for funding. It says federations must find a way to package themselves so that they can be independent. We're talking about this, and funding has continuously been an issue to sports development in the country. We'll talk about a countdown to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics on the show tonight. I'll continue. That question, when is the Nigeria National League resuming? It has been on a suspended break for some time now. At a time, Shooting Stars were already catching fire. At a time, Bendel Insurance, they were catching fire. At a time, Crown FC of Oboh, they were believing. Because it is from the NNL you gain promotion to the MPFL. We love the story we're telling in the Nigeria Professional Football League. Why can't we do the same with the NNL? And everybody that is concerned with football administration in Nigeria, they're just keeping quiet. Nobody is talking about it. Austin is asking that question tonight. What's going on with the Nigeria National League? When is it resuming? We'll talk about it on the show tonight. Also, I'll get you involved if you love beach soccer in Nigeria. We've been talking about the development of beach soccer in this country, that we have what it takes to develop the sport. Abuja tomorrow, they're going to have the Abuja Beach Soccer Tournament. The organizers believe that if we do more of this, it will stir up the interest, and then somehow we can have a league and develop the sport. I'll tell you about that competition that will begin tomorrow in Abuja. 4 teams will compete. Objective is to develop beach soccer in the country. What's going on with Odioni Halo and his new team, Manchester United? Football fans in Nigeria, emotionally, they are now supporters of Manchester United because of Odion. Yes, be your brother's keeper. And the persons were saying first, they said, I got calls. Austin, Odion Yalo is not in the Manchester United list of players on their website. I said, we don't know the terms of the contract. They said, Austin, Odion Yalo, they've said that he should not train with the team because he's coming from China because they're scared of the coronavirus. Guys, calm down. Manchester United, through Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they have explained that Odion Yalo will travel with the team, and he's been having his own training, and he will be part of the team. There's no discrimination. Everybody is just being careful right there. I will give you updates coming from that one. And, of course, every other thing that is going down in our world of sports, but be part of the program today as we dissect the issues going on in the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria. The main actors, Queen Idris, Oboh Idris, the Nigeria Powerlifting Federation, and of course, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, which is the daddy of all the sporting federations in Nigeria. I want to address that issue tonight, and we want to understand why we're having these problems. Be part of the program on Twitter, our channels _sports, Facebook, channels IF Sports. You can send us an email to sportstonight@channelstv.com. All our top stories can be viewed on our website, channelstv.com, and on YouTube /channels web. If you log on to m.channelstv.com, you can download the Channels TV app for your iPad, your iPhone, your BlackBerry, your iOS, your Windows phones, and your Android phones. Just log on to m.channelstv.com, download the app, you'll be part of the show. And I love it when you get involved. If you love special sports in Nigeria the way we do right here at Channels Television, be part of the show as we take a look at the development of powerlifting in Nigeria. The athletes, they are doing their part. Whenever they have a chance to represent Nigeria, they do so well. But lately, leadership seems to be a setback, and we don't like it because we are counting down to the Paralympics that will take place in Tokyo. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So if we don't get it right with leadership, we will struggle. So nobody should come out tomorrow and say, oh, the athletes didn't do their best. Problems everywhere in different sporting federations in Nigeria. We just want to understand what's going on. And tonight we'll begin with powerlifting. But before we get into that discussion, let's go to Manchester and give updates coming from Manchester United as regards Odion Igalo. The club, they have confirmed that Odion Igalo's confinement from the training ground is just precautionary and has always been the plan, because they signed Odion Igalo from China and everybody seemed to be careful with the coronavirus. Igalo, who joined Manchester United in a deadline day move from Chinese club Shanghai Shenhua, was banned from the club's training complex amid fears of spreading the coronavirus. You won't blame them. Don't blame them. The 30-year-old has not tested positive for the virus, and as part of the government's precautionary procedures, he has been put on a 2-week incubation period that will end this weekend. This coincided with Manchester United's return to the UK from the training camp in Spain, which Igalo had missed over similar concerns. The Nigerian striker has been training in Manchester's Taekwondo Center on the Etihad campus and will be part of United's traveling party when they face Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Monday, February the 17th. So, Nigerian football fans, all is well. There's nothing wrong with people being precautionary, because, I mean, it's better safe than to regret. So, Odion is coming from China, and the coronavirus is already in the UK, and some persons are already dying. So they said, look, we're just being careful. Can we just keep him here? Let's just check him. Let's just be sure. So let's not see any other meaning to it. Odion Igalo will play for Chelsea. Will play for Manchester United against Chelsea if he's fine, fit enough for that one. So we are looking forward to that match between Manchester United and of course, Chelsea, see if Odion Igalo can be a part of that one. Let's go to Abuja now. Let me let you know that organizers of the Abuja Beach Soccer Tournament, they have confirmed that they want to use that competition to create more awareness for beach soccer in the country. And with that, they have sanitized the Jabi Lake Park ahead of tomorrow's kickoff, where 4 teams will compete at the 3-day event. Which teams? What are the teams? Kwara Beach Soccer Club, Abuja Beach Soccer Club, Kebbi Beach Soccer Club, and Badagry United Beach Soccer Club. Those are the 4 teams that will compete at the Abuja Beach Soccer Tournament. The officials, they have said, look, they want fans to come out. They want to prove a point that we can actually have a beach soccer league in Nigeria. Today, at the FCT, they had the press conference. That's what you can see right there. And yeah, they stated their commitment towards ensuring that everybody that loves beach soccer come together and see what they can do for beach soccer development in Nigeria. And then reacting to some of the persons that have supported and the well-wishers that have come out to say we are going to be part of it. The coordinator of the Abuja Beach Soccer Tournament, Mahmoud Adejia, stated that the organizers are thrilled with the support they have received from the public, just as he described the build-up to the tournament as hitch-free. Because we said this is Nigeria. We've got the people. We've got the talents. Why can't we do so well with beach soccer? So, Mahmoud Adejia is the chairman of the Kebbi Beach Soccer Association. And remember, Kebbi State, they're doing so much for the development of beach soccer. So now they've taken the campaign to Abuja. We know Lagos, through the Eco Beach Soccer Tournament, they are also doing their part. He can go around states that have different beaches. We can do more with it. We can play beach soccer, we can play beach volleyball. There's also beach table tennis. So we're looking forward to that one to kick off tomorrow right there at the Jabi Lake Park in Abuja. Beach soccer and its development in Nigeria. We'll keep monitoring that one. Sounds so good. I love it so much. From beach soccer, let's go to Portugal. Let me let you know what's going on at the Portugal Open. Nigeria's Ofiong Edem and Bode Abiodun. They have worked their way. They worked so hard. And so they have entered the main draw of the 2020 International Table Tennis Federation Challenge Plus tagged the Portugal Open after their stunning victories today in the preliminary round of the singles event. Edem, who is competing in our first tournament in readiness for the double tournaments that will take place this month in Tunisia, as a performance against Kazakhstan's Anastasia Lavrova confirmed her readiness for the ITTF Africa Top 16 Cup and the Olympic qualifying tournament. She defeated her opponent 3-1. Despite losing the first game, she bounced back to win 3-1. Just as Edem did with us, Abiodun is also competing in his first major tournament this year, and he started well through the first round of the preliminary. He defeated a Scottish player, Niall Cameron, 4-0, and then went on to seal his place in the main draw after beating his German opponent, Cedric Mycena, 4-2 to make it to the main draw. They will also meet at the main draw their compatriot Olajide Omotayo, who is already seeded in the main draw for their campaigns, which serve off on Friday, February the 14th, in the elite stage of the competition. Table tennis, giving us reasons to talk sports tonight, and we love it so much. Let's bring the discussion back home now. I'll continue our countdown to the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival. I started that one to let you know that we mean business in terms of talent discovery and development. That's the way to go. The National Sports Festival, 36 more days to go. Edo State told us that they are ready to give us arguably one of the best festivals that has ever been organized in Nigeria. And with that, they kickstarted the Edo State Sports Festival, where athletes from all the local government areas in the state are competing, and they are already discovering talents from that one. Let me give you a name that has been discovered, Blessing Okujiro of Oriomon local government. She clinched gold in the women's 100 meters final at the ongoing Edo Sports Festival at the University of Benin Sports Complex. Interestingly, Eson athletes dominated in the 400 meters men event after Olympian Orupe Erayokan of Eson Northeast went on to win gold. In the 200 meters men's event, Simon Avokogene won gold, while Isaac Roland and Issa Saliu settled for silver and bronze for Akoko Edo and Eson Northeast. So more action going down right there at the Edo Sports Festival. We'll continue to monitor everything that is going down right there. From the countdown to the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival, let's continue our countdown to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. We're counting down this one to know and confirm Nigeria's readiness for the world's biggest sporting event. 161 more days to go. How ready is Team Nigeria? What is the ministry doing differently this time around? Last night, the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, says, look, funding is a major problem, and for us to get it right, we must stop this dependence on government. Today, the ministry, they met with some sporting federations and they confirmed that they want to avoid mistakes from the past. That at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, Nigeria will do something differently. And that's why I keep asking the questions. What are we going to do to ensure that the Tokyo 2020 Olympics will not end the way it's ended at the London 2012 Olympics and, of course, the Rio 2016 Olympics? So the Minister of Youth and Sports, his team at the Met Federation, I'm sure they're strategizing. They've said that this time around it will be given a different approach. Is time running out? Time is already out. But I've been speaking to some ex-internationals and they say it's better late than never, and that what is going down is actually a breath of fresh air. So let's just hope that right after this meeting, they will keep to their words. They say they are going to avoid past mistakes. What were the mistakes from the Rio 2016 Olympics? Logistics was poor. They didn't bring kits on time. Athletes' welfare was a problem. Remember, the Olympic Eagles, they were stranded in Atlanta before they got to Brazil for the tournament. All of those mistakes, Mr. Sunday Dari and his team said they are going to avoid past mistakes. We're going to hold them accountable if we see some of those mistakes at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. So let's go to Abuja now. I want to address the issues going on in the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria. And I think sometime last month, I had the same guest on this show. She said the record straight, made us understand some of the issues. Let's go back to Abuja. The Director of Federations and Elite Athletes Department of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Mrs. Tayo Oreweme, joins us now live on the program. Good evening, Director. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
Good evening.
Awesome. Good to have you on the show, and thank you so much for coming out. Let's begin with the World Powerlifting World Cup. Right when we were getting into the thick of things, we started hearing of talks that the federation was not being carried along, that the ministry was interfering. I want to understand the role that the ministry played at the World Powerlifting World Cup that just ended in Abuja.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. The ministry is the supervising ministry, Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. We monitor 38 federations, and we have a parastatal that is called NFF. For me, as the Director of Federations, I superintend directly 38 federations, of which powerlifting is one of them. Like I said when I was on this show some weeks back, there are code of governance that the 38 of the federations signed into when the election was conducted. For the Oboh, they conducted the election in 2017, and for the para elections, it was in 2018. There was a code of governance that stipulates what A, B, C should do. As the monitor and the supervisor, the elections were conducted and the federation signed into what to guide them to ensure best practices. Like I said, Mrs. Oboh single-handedly do a lot of things, even with the caution that the ministry give to her. She does not want to comply with the code of governance.
I'll just pause you. You were
governance.
telling me on the need for federations to obey the rules of governance. In what area did the suspended president of the powerlifting of Nigeria, Queen Oboh Idris, in what area did she violate these rules that you're talking about?
The first rule that she violated, which was made known to her, right, was the rule in Article 12 from 1 to 4, which stipulates on what you should do, the bidding period before you can host any international tournament, regional, world, Africa, whatever it is. This laid down rule says you must give government 6 months notice with a written approval before you go and bid. Miss Queen did not write for bidding. She brought a letter that she has gotten hosting right, and the ministry informed her in writing that you, if you want to host without approval, you must be ready to take care of all the finances that is around hosting. She wrote back that she has her sponsors and that Nigeria should only be mindful of her team Nigeria. There were a series of meetings to ensure that Nigeria will not be put to disrepute, but in all, to conclude, because it's a situation that has documentary evidence of meetings that were called and meetings that were held. It is just a sheer disobedience to lay down regulations and rule by the president. And on the part of Article 17, which clearly says that for you to do anything, even after you want to host, you must carry on your board. The board resolution must agree over issues of your committee, over issues of funding, over issues of who does who, and that all these details must be brought to the ministry for approval. None of this was obeyed by Ms. Oboh. She single-handedly, unilaterally formed a 23 committee and of 301 persons. When we called her to order and asked her to come so that we can have a streamline of the 23 to 11, she was not happy about that, and there were so many issues that followed. She insisted that she was going to run her affairs. And since Team Nigeria was our main thrust as the road to Tokyo, we stick to what is our mandate to ensure that the path that we have started since 2017 in Mexico for Team Nigeria would not be jeopardized. Because for you to be en route to Tokyo, you need to be in the 2017 qualifier, which Nigeria participated, and we had 7 qualified. Then in 2018 in Algiers, then in 2019, and in all these 3 rounds, the Abuja one was a 4th run. Like you know that we put in 30, that is 20 senior and 10 junior. Of the 20 senior, we had 16 medals, that is 11 gold, 2 silver, and 3 silver and 2 bronze. Then for the junior, we had 10, we had 6 gold. So Team Nigeria maintained what she had, as at last year we had 14 qualified out of 16 probables. So we returned the 14 with a high level of others breaking the world ground. And for us in the federation, our path is clear: to caution any erring federation president who want to throw laws into the wings and think they could be sole administrator. No, the board has rules and guidelines to be followed. And COIN is just one of 38 of them. We will want to say to all Nigerians that the Ministry of Youth and Sport Development is on top of her responsibility, and we will not allow any federation president to go into thinking that federations are NGO. No. Federations have code of governance that are signed into when the elections were done, which is a prelude to their constitutional ratification before the next election. So for now, the constitutions of each of them will be ratified by the international federations. They will follow the code of governance that they signed into in 2017.
Okay, so
That is what is the
I,
stand of the ministry.
I understand that aspect now. I'll make me understand what happened just 2 weeks to the main event, the World Powerlifting World Cup. There was some sort of division amongst the athletes because, according to some in Lagos, that the ministry disrupted their camping plans. That the ministry came to Lagos, took some of the equipment to Abuja, and so that caused some misunderstanding. Let us understand what happened with that camp before the World Cup.
I want you to know, Austin, that the Lagos camp for the powerlifting is the home of powerlifting that was assisted to them in 2015, 2016 by PIC. The training gym was renovated, and that is the center for which, whether there's any event or not, morning and evening, they train in that gym.
Yeah.
So when the decision to come to Abuja was on, it was the decision of the ministry that since the competition will be held from 3rd to 8th in Abuja, it is customary that anyone that is going to compete will have a feel of the facilities that will be used for Abuja, and also the weather, and also to ensure that the athletes are in the place of competition at least 2 weeks before the period of the competition. That is why the training preparation for the final laps, because they've been training, it's just the last 2 weeks before the tournament that was moved to Abuja. So
Did
that
the
weather in
ministry,
Abuja is not the same in
with that
Lagos.
of Lagos.
It's not the same.
Did the ministry
We talk about
communicate? Yeah,
acclimatization.
I just want to throw this question, ma. Did the ministry communicate with the federation and the athletes that they need to move to Abuja? Because some of them insist that it was some sort of a force that was forced on them, and that they prefer to be in Lagos, but that the ministry just came and pushed everything to Abuja.
Not true. We are not running a banana republic. There is a president, there is vice president, there are board, and there is a secretariat. So when the board and the technical committee took decision on the number of athletes to be in Abuja, communication were made to the athletes through their channel of Secretary General communicating to all the states and the athletes concerned. Letters were written on their forum, everything was there, and they started reporting to camp from 19th, even though it was supposed to start on 20. So there were some that stayed in Abuja because there is this build-up that has been fashionalized between the aggrieved board members that were talking about Queen running a show business of a single sole administrator, and there are some too that are on the side of the 10 aggrieved board. So these are the athletes that were pitching in Lagos. And when the ministry gave the final word in the presence of their president and all the board members, when they did the reconciliation meeting, all of them were moved those in Lagos to join their counterpart in Abuja. And both groups stayed in camp, total 158 under my watch. And these are the people that we were taking care of for 15 days before the tournament on the 3rd to 8th.
Queen Oboh Idris has also accused the ministry of being a bully. Can you make us understand some of the things that the ministry have passed on to her since this crisis has started? Has the ministry invited her for questioning? What are some of the resolutions that has come out of this World Powerlifting World Cup?
The issue of bully, I don't understand bully because I don't know what Queen will mean by ministry bullying. If you are the monitor of somebody and you ask the person to explain basic issues of planning, of funding, of logistics, of bonding your board with you, what is bullying? For all loud and cry, the minister came in September. And right there in August, September, and there was a meeting with Queen and the minister even before the minister came to Morocco. So without the board, when invariably we came back from Morocco and the issue of World Cup came in, the ministry insists that the entire board must meet and have reconciliation in the ministers' conference room, with Minister of Sport, with the PAMSEC, with my good self, and all the board members on the 29th of November to ensure that this fight that they have been on with Queen since the day of election. Let me tell you, Austin, Queen has been doing her own show. I've always tell you, she has thought that the office of president means like commander-in-chief of Republic of Powerlifting. That's what Queen has been doing. And we told her that you are just first among equals. Out of the 13 people on the board, Queen got her mandate directly from the ministry. Mrs. Olawale got her mandate directly from the ministry. It's only the two of them that did not go through election. All the others, apart from the Secretary General and the Treasurer that are the staff of the ministry, they went through zonal elections, went through NAWIS election, went through NAFAD election, went through all their constituency election before they came to the board. There's only 2 seats that the ministry supply in a board of 13 in Para. That is the seat of sponsor, somebody to look for sponsorship, and somebody to be a philanthropist to give money because para sport needs assistance and funding. This is the constituency from which Queen come from. How can Queen, that is from ministry, as a ministry constituency, be the one that will say she's being bullied by her constituency? There's no correlation in such accusation. For all loud and cry, if you are put into a board by the same ministry, are you not going to be responsive to the role for which you are there for? Queen has been doing high-handedness and she doesn't want to be checked. This is just the issue. You need to check unnecessary high-handedness. When you ask Queen, money that you raise, which account do you put it? How do you account for it? Who is the authorizing person for this thing you are doing that is clearly written that ABC should endorse this before this is done? Queen will tell you, even while in the meeting, that, excuse me, and that's the end of the meeting. We had several meetings as intervening meeting to ensure that all her ado with the board and herself were checked. But as I speak, before she turned in her resignation, Queen will always find a way to find an escape route not to address issues. And this is why the 10-member board that she has kind of been kept at bay insists that even from the first edition that she held last year, they are asking her questions. This is the second one. They want to know who gave approval for this, because this is supposed to be board resolution before this and this and this and this is done. Queen will abate it and say his board member who gave her presidency cannot ask question. It is
Okay.
absurd.
And-
It's not just talking about Queen, but every other president who think after signing into a code, you will now jettison the code and run a banana republic. No, sir. This will not be allowed by a monitoring ministry that knows her onions and knows that she is there with a mandate to ensure that people run their various federations with transparency, with accountability, and with decorum of international practices. That is the reason why we are asking questions when people don't want to do what they should do, and we bring them to table that there should be reconciliation. There were 3 reconciliatory meetings. The minutes were made, and Queen was not forthcoming to just allow information to flow to her board.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you
just
so much,
what is the issue.
Mrs. Oreweme. I get you, and you've actually done a lot in clarifying the issues. But let me let our viewers know we actually invited Queen Oboh Idris to get outside of the story. She agreed to be part of this interview. Minutes to the show, she still said she was going to be part of it before we contacted the ministry to also come give their side. And Queen has not showed up for the interview. That's why we are not getting our own side of the story. So you can be part of the show on Twitter channels _sports, Facebook channels _sports. We have the director of federations and elites athletes department in the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Mrs. Tayo Oreweme. So in case you've been following the drama and the leadership crisis going on in the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria, she, from the angle of the ministry, is trying to make us understand what is going on. And we've gotten the side of the ministry. Queen Oboh Idris agreed to be part of this interview tonight, and she's not anywhere to be found. You can be part of the show on Twitter, channels _sports, Facebook channels _sports, or send us an email to sportstonight@channelstv.com. Right after the World Powerlifting World Cup in Abuja, Queen Oboh Idris resigned as the president of the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria. A federation board member says, no, it's not accepted. You're suspended. We want to investigate you. There's been allegations of financial misappropriation. They have also accused her of not carrying the federation along. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, Mrs. Oreweme, she was part of the meeting that the minister had today where they said they want to avoid past mistakes as they prepare for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. She will tell us what steps they are taking to make sure Nigeria have a good time in Tokyo. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Sports Tonight on your award-winning sports-loving channels, television. We're broadcasting live from our sports center in Lagos, Nigeria. You can be part of the show. We're taking a look at powerlifting in Nigeria. We're addressing the leadership issues that the federation has been suffering. We have the director of federations and elite athletes department in the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Mrs. Tayo Oreweme, with us in our Abuja studio. Let's go back to her. The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, says the ministry will prevent a repeat of the London 2012 and Rio 2016 Olympics, where Nigeria ended the games with an abysmal performance. Mrs. Oreweme, what is the ministry doing this time around to ensure that Nigeria will have a good experience at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics?
Three things: ensuring that people do what they are supposed to do at the right time. Funding being the main issue, of sports, because you know that sports is a money-spinning venture. That funding, that is the outcry of the teams, like the London 2012, the releases were not given on time. Even the Rio releases were not given on time. Since the present honorable minister came on board, he has gone to ensure that apart from releases from government, there is aggressive marketing, there is the athletes on their own are looked into for adoption, so that their training, their nutrition will be taken care of, specifically paid into their personal account in the athletes adoption campaign that he launched. You recall the launching in Lagos, where quite a number of the qualified athletes had been adopted by good sport-loving Nigerians and philanthropists to take care of that shortfall that is not always there. That is the shortfall that we always have because of late releases of funds. Then you see also the angle of facility development, which always cause drain of our athletes abroad, because even after they have qualified, where is the facility to train? So most of them are abroad. So these issues are being tackled headlong. Secondly, the issue of accreditation and late registration. This we met yesterday and today, yesterday at the committee level, and yesterday with the presidents of the concerned 11 able and 5 penciled para federations, so that all these timelines that have been set by the international body will be strictly adhered to by the federations. So this and the qualifying series also, mostly we don't enter into qualifying series on time. Like I told you, we started the series 2 years back. For powerlifting, we were in Mexico in 2017 to ensure that the road to Tokyo is started by most of the federation. So as we speak, we have quite a number of the athletes qualified already. This was not the case in Rio. There were late, a lot of things were done late because of funding. So this and quite a number of other issues on coaching, on technical matters, on administrative matters are those areas where we have made up our mind that this time business will not be as usual.
All right, we're looking forward to us doing things differently. We'll continue to monitor the progress of the Federation. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tayo Oreweme. I had fun doing this with you. You need to keep a copy of the Code of Governance for me. When I come to Abuja next week, we'll sit down together and read it. Thank you.
We can give you 5 copies for all your friends there.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Oreweme. So that's it. Mrs. Tayo Oreweme. She's the director of Federations and Elite Athletes Department of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. Wow, what a story we're getting in Powerlifting Federation. So you be the judge of what you've heard. We tried to get Queen Oboh on the show. She agreed to be part of it, and she didn't show up, but it's all good. Before we go, let me just quickly give you this update that Chelsea, they have reached an agreement with Ajax Amsterdam to sign the Dutch club's winger Kim Ziyech this summer. The 26-year-old was a January transfer target for Chelsea manager Frank Lampard. Ajax Amsterdam were unwilling to sell the Moroccan international in the transfer window as they chase the Dutch Eredivisie title. Ajax Amsterdam has also confirmed that they have accepted a fee of 40 million euros, potentially rising to 44 million euros, with the move subject to Ziyech agreeing personal terms. The signing is the first by Lampard following Chelsea's transfer ban. Before I leave the show, when is the Nigeria National League resuming? It has been paused for some time now. Football administrators in Nigeria are not saying anything about it. It's going for about 2 months. The NPFL is going on well. We're talking about it. But when will the NNL resume? We've got some top teams such as Bendel Insurance, Shooting Stars, Stationery Stores, Crown FC of Ogbomoso, Bayelsa United. Top teams playing in that league, and it has been paused, and nobody is talking about it. When is the NNL going to resume? The Nigeria Football Federation, everybody involved with football administration in Nigeria, that league has been described as the most important league with football in Nigeria because teams gain promotion from the NNL to the NPFL. And from the NNL, you can actually assess development because if it's good from there, you want to take it to the next level, which is the NNL. When will the Nigeria National League resume? That's the question I'm throwing to every football administrator in Nigeria. I'll just take this message before we wrap up. The issue at the ministry with the federation is certainly not about power tussles, but monetary sharing formula. That's coming from Uto on Twitter. He says, so much corruption with officials while the sportsmen and women cry home with stipend as may be determined by officials at contingencies levels. It's sad. But on that note, we wrap up Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Keep talking to us on Twitter, Channels_Sports, Facebook channels, IFM Sports. That's the show for the team. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.